My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. So start your free trial of Sirius XM today. Visit SiriusXM.com/believe.
Welcome to the Jello Jiggling podcast. This is the first time it'll actually be on video. This is something I've been reluctant to do for a very, very long time because honestly, I don't like seeing myself on camera. I don't know if you guys are like that, but it's just something, even the pictures, even when people say you look good or whatever, you're still like, I just don't like it, man. Because it's like when you hear your voice for the first time when it's recorded, like on a podcast, and you're like, I really sound like that? Like, oh, just a pet peeve of mine. Like, something I said before, I just did a YouTube live. Something I got to get over. I'm going to get over it. I will, because it's just repetition. It's just doing it more and more, and which is repetition. But anyway, on to the news. So breaking news, the second of 3 Kobe Bryant statues has been announced. I got it pulled up here. It was Dave McMillan that broke the news, apparently, of ESPN. So I'm going to give you some details on it right here. So, okay, a statue depicting Kobe Bryant and daughter Gigi Bryant will be unveiled in a private tented ceremony Friday outside of Crypto.com Arena, sources tell ESPN. Gotta love the Lakers in their short notice. They do this all the time, and it drives all of the media crazy. Well, I mean, it's still a very cool thing. It's just like, I mean, what if, you're covering Team USA or whatever, and you're in France, and, well, then you'd be screwed regardless. But just a little notice would be nice so you could plan things. I mean, maybe even I could, get out there, but I can't now. Anyway, the second statue of 3 planned monuments for the Lakers legend who died in a tragic helicopter crash of 7 others in January 20th or 2020. The first statue, blah, blah, blah. Friday's date, 8/2/24. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, that's it then. That's the reason why. Well, the similar numerology meaning to the February ceremony, 2/8/24. Excuse me. Representing both the Bryant's uniform, 8 and 24, and number 2 of the 13-year-old Gigi wore on the basketball court. Near the King's Monument. Okay, so the statue of the father, because this is what I was wondering, where are they going to put it? Right, I assumed it's got to be on one of the corners, right? And then maybe one in the back by the parking lot where, it's another entrance that not a lot of people go through because I think it's where all the rich people flood in there, get all the crazy expensive seats. But anyway, sorry, I keep getting alerts and stuff. Located near the Los Angeles Kings Monument celebrating the team's 50th anniversary. I know. That's interesting. I wonder how they're going to do this then. I think that's like a water thing. I remember I've walked by that 100 times on the way back to the parking lot after covering a game. I wonder. Okay, it will be available for the public to start visiting on Saturday. That's cool. At least they're not holding it for too long. Vanessa revealed that the February ceremony. Okay. Revealed that at the third statue would show her late husband in 20 years. So the last one, he's going to be wearing number 24, which is cool. I wonder what they're going to do for that one. I mean, if I were to guess, it'd probably be him jumping on the, whatever the hell you call it, the announcer's table, and, putting his arms out after beating the Celtics. Third statue is expected to be unveiled sometime next season. See, they always say this stuff. I'm sure they already know. I guarantee they already know. It's probably the same. It'll probably be like, February. Totally ESPN. No pictures or anything, which is kind of a bummer. But then again, they don't want to ruin it. You want to get the anticipation up to everybody to see it tomorrow. Cool though, cool. Another cool thing. Hopefully it's just as good as the first one, because people are ruthless. I think people some people, I thought it was, this is the first statue is exactly what I wanted. You can listen to one of the prior podcasts when it was announced. I said him pointing to the sky after 81 is the perfect statue. So I'm wondering what this will be. I think I'm betting it's going to be a little different, not so traditional statue the same way that first one was, or the other ones are in front of Staples, like how the Kings is kind of different. Awesome though. I love this. This is cool. Can't wait to see it. But in other news, we got Team USA on hot streak. They've won 2 games in a row in convincing fashion, beating Serbia's ass and then beating South Sudan's ass. I didn't think that it was going to be as easy as it was to beat South Sudan yesterday, because I feel like they had something that Team USA really struggled against, and they weren't going to figure that out that quickly, but they did, apparently. And now I'm kind of thinking that they could just run the table, as people have predicted. But we'll see. I mean, they play Puerto Rico on Saturday, but I think that is a game that doesn't really matter because they've already clinched the group and they're moving forward. So AD got the start in this last game, tweaked his ankle, which was scary. And I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh, what's going to happen with AD? That's a bummer. But he said he was 100% after the game, which is great, even if he's not, which he probably isn't. I assume Kerr might even rest him for the whole game. I wouldn't be shocked by it, especially if he's ailing a little bit. Because, you say anybody that's played ball and is rolled their ankle, and I've done it multiple times. I've actually sprained both ankles. I mean, I don't even know how many times, but I severely 4 times, twice on each. And I actually broke one of them. I can't even remember. I think it was the right one, which actually still clicks when I go upstairs. But you don't know how bad it is until you take your shoe off. And it just goes, it just blows up like a balloon. And then, I've actually heard that if you break it, it's better than a severe sprain, because a severe sprain takes longer to heal. Not saying he should have broke his ankle, because I don't think it's that bad. It's just a tweak. Everybody tweaks their ankles, and it gets a little sore, and you just play through it and it goes away after a week or so. But if it blew up like a balloon, yeah, maybe he is resting. It's a perfect time to do it. Puerto Rico doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You win or lose, whatever. They've already secured their spot. So, so AD might not play. I mean, there's been no hint to that, but the fact that Embiid is starting after sitting this past game, I feel like that's what Kerr's doing because of the close proximity to the end of the season and how quickly they had to jump into this. Just like Tatum getting benched that first game and everybody's freaking out. Like, how are you going to bench a reigning champion on the best team in the league? Like, I get it, but this team is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. So it really doesn't matter. It's not like, it didn't affect the team at all. They still rolled against Serbia, who is not the team that I thought they were going to be. I thought having a guy whenever you have a guy like Jokic on your team, he elevates the team in so many ways because he can pass and he can get everyone involved. So you can make guys that are not even that great look pretty good, because you hit them in stride. All they got to do is basically set picks, and cut. That's it. Set picks, cut, hit occasional shots, be open on the perimeter, and knock down shots. So he can elevate people's games, and clearly he hasn't done that. I bet he's actually regretting coming to the Olympics because he didn't want to go last time. And he was probably kind of convinced to do it this time. Like, we really need you. We really need you. But now he's like, damn, what am I doing? I came here to not even finish in the top 3 because I don't think they will. I think the best teams right now, I would probably say Team USA, Germany, Canada. I think it'll end up in some order like that. Probably, if I were to guess right now, I would say Team USA gold, Germany silver, Canada bronze. But those two could bounce back and forth. And who knows? I mean, we haven't seen them play a game of meaning against those. The Americans play a game of meaning against those teams. So I don't know. Could go either way. Excuse me. Oh, man. Anyway, so that's the next game, and then we get the new schedule for the next, series of games. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope they play. I hope they play both those teams because I think that'd be really good. Because it's been really competitive games like all the way around, and USA isn't absolutely destroying these teams like the Dream Team was or the Redeem Team at some points. It's still within the range of 20 points, 15 points. So it's not like they're absolutely putting their throats or their foot on their throats and choking them to death, right? Which I think is very cool because it just shows you how far the rest of the world has come in this sport. It just makes for good basketball. I mean, after this, we're not going to have basketball for a while, I think the preseason gets started toward the end of September. So we'll have the majority of August and then majority of September. It's just going to suck. Thank God for the NFL. Love the NFL because it comes in just the right time, just like the dog days of summer. If it weren't for this, we would be in the dog days of summer officially, when we are technically, but at least we have this to watch every few days or so. I like the way they're spreading it out too. It's not like playoffs where it's like, one game, break, game, break, game. Except then it just goes too fast. I like there's a few days in between. Gives the guys rest, which is great because I'm sure that, they signed up probably reluctantly, being like, oh, I need the off season. Because a lot of these guys are on the older side, like I think I saw some graphic or stat that said that LeBron, Steph, and KD are all older than Larry Bird was when he was, barely getting through the 92 Olympics. I mean, he was done. He was done. His back had enough. He was constantly like nursing his back during, before and after games and practices and stuff. So, Larry was on his way out. And so, I mean, Magic already was out, right? So it's just different. It's kind of crazy when you think of it like that, because when I remember when I was a kid watching that and like how Larry Bird was looked at as like such an old guy, oh my God, Larry's so old and he's still playing in the Olympics, and Magic is so old and Jordan is so young and up and coming and stuff. And now you look at it and you got 3 guys who are still playing very high level basketball, and they're older, I think it was LeBron's 4 years older than Bird was. Don't quote me on that because I don't know for sure. I'm just going off of memory from what I heard from the broadcast. But yeah, so I'm glad. I'm so glad that we're watching competitive basketball because, I mean, nobody likes watching blowouts. You like watching it for the first, 10, 15 minutes, and then you're just like, okay, this is boring. I've had enough. Turn it off, But I've actually been watching the other games, what's the game the other day? It was South Sudan against Puerto Rico. That was a fun game to watch. I think Greece was playing somebody the other day. Was it Spain? I don't know. And then I watched Serbia. Serbia actually played good that day. Their passing was elite that day. But these teams they're good teams. They're good basketball teams. It's not shitty basketball. It's fun to watch. I I went through scrolling before I got on this earlier, and I'm like, is there any games on today? And I didn't see any, but I could be wrong. This is YouTube TV. I was going through and didn't see anything, which is a bummer because I always like look. It's like when the Euro was on. I'm a big soccer guy. I love that. I love the Euro. I love the World Cup. I love Champions League. I watch it every year. Unless Liverpool's not in the Champions League, then I kind of disinterested. But back in the day, I used to watch it when there was, Messi was playing and Cristiano Ronaldo and seeing, who was going to end up on top. And those games were fun. And there was I knew a lot more players back then. I think the soccer's changed so much over the last few years in terms of they're transitioning as well from the older guys kind of going away and this whole other generation coming up. So there's a lot of guys I don't know. It's like Mbappe is probably the top dog that I know right now. And, I know all the Liverpool guys, but it's I compare it to baseball. Like I was a huge fan when I was a kid. I knew everybody because I was collecting cards, which helps know everybody, know who's good to get a good card, blah, blah, blah. But now I can't keep up. It's like the Dodgers trade deadline just passed. And our guys from Dodger Blue, it's our sister side of Lakers Nation, we're covering every moment. And they're ecstatic the guys that they got. And I didn't know any of them. I just knew the pitcher, Jack Flattery or whatever. I don't even know if I said that right. Who's an LA guy, came home. It was all about him coming home and him being really good and part of the rotation, like immediately, the starting rotation or if the starting pitcher rotation or whatever. But I'm like so out of touch with baseball. It's like, what's his name? Teo. When they signed him for like $23 million for 1 year, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I'm like, he must be good. You don't sign a guy for $23 million for 1 year if he's not good. And he's just been destroying the baseball. I've watched more baseball this year, more Dodgers baseball than I have in probably 10 years, 15 years. I don't know. It's been a long time, but I love it. I mean, Ohtani is just pure entertainment. And I know I'm going completely off track here, and I may have totally tuned our basketball guys out. But anyway, a few other things happened this week, Lakers-wise. Just taking a look at my notes here. I guess Blake Hinson and Dalton Knecht played Knecht 4. I just saw that before I came on. I'm like, I'm gonna check that out. I saw like Blake was talking a little trash the first like 15 seconds, so I'm definitely watching that. I love Blake. That guy's cool. I hope that guy sticks around for a long time. He's on a 2-way deal, so he's always gonna be on that bubble. But dude, that dude can shoot. That kid can shoot. Hopefully, he pulls through and then can get a role. Like Austin Reeves and Caruso before him. But he recently went on our Lakers Nation podcast, and he was asked by the host Trevor Lane what he thought of that scathing report about the treatment that Bronny was getting during the summer league and how it was like preferential treatment, and it was clearly different compared to all the other guys. And it was some anonymous player. So who knows? It could be, who knows? I'm not going to speculate on it, but it wasn't good, right? But it was exactly what I had predicted a long time ago before he even got drafted. I'm like, dude, you can't say this is not going to be a distraction, and you can't say this is not going to impact the team, because it's going to. So there's going to be resentment. There's going to be people that take things the wrong way. And especially if there is favoritism shown, which may have happened, maybe didn't. Blake said that it kind of called the report BS. Like he said, he never saw anything like that. And I kind of believe him. I mean, I was watching it, looking at, his mannerism. He was totally like, what? Taken aback by it. Like he didn't even know about the report. And it was really fresh at the time, but it made the rounds on social media, as it does when anything Lakers related breaks. But I think that's just the beginning. I mean, you think that's just summer league, man. That's just summer league. Wait until he gets in, on the squad, and he's sharing the locker room with AD and Reeves and all the guys. And then he gets playing time over somebody else. Like, it's just, you can just see it from afar. And you don't have to be, totally wired into basketball, totally wired into the team. It's just kind of logic. You throw something in the mix like that and you're asking for trouble. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, hopefully they just go through this year and Bronny's just in the G League developing and there's not a problem. But I just don't see it being that clean. It just seems too easy. And this is LA. This is like the most dramatic franchise there is in the NBA, and in professional sports, it's up there, right? With like the Cowboys. I think Dallas Cowboys are the only ones that can really compete. I'm sure they're a little bit more just because of it's the NFL, right, compared to the NBA. But still, I mean, it just the Lakers. It's something that it's a franchise that should not add drama unnecessarily, and they've done it twice. They did it with JJ, and now they're doing it with Bronny. And I just feel like it's going to hit a boiling point at some point, and it's going to get ugly. And I hope not. I'm not rooting for this stuff by any means, even though it kind of benefits our space, right? Because we cover it like ad nauseum, right? Every day. I'm talking about it right now. It's content for me. It's content for the guys at Lakers Nation. It's content for anybody that covers the Lakers or the NBA for that matter, because it's national news. But I hope it works out. I hope the gamble works out. It just, the odds are it's gonna get bad, and I think a lot of Laker fans are kind of in tune to that too. They see it coming too. They're not stupid. I mean, there are some crazy, wild fans that I've dealt with in the past, and I'm sure I will in the future. But it's pretty obvious, dude. So it's all about being optimistic. It's all about being positive, because that's kind of the only thing they got going right now. So I hate to go like on a bummer note, but and then there was D-Lo talking about Kobe, playing with Kobe, and I thought that was cool and interesting because I got to witness that firsthand. I covered that season, which is a weird season. It was Kobe's last season, where Kobe was just kind of like could not wait to get done. He was so like I remember leading up to that season, Kobe was really pushing for one last like sign of hope that he could contend again. And then he just came to terms with the fact it's over. Like the window's over. And it's just the strangest thing, because a guy that's so determined, so focused and, ruthless at times, he just did a total 180, right? Like I remember talking to all the beat guys back then, or at least the ones I talked to, and how they were all blown away too. Guys that have been covering him for his whole career. I mean, I was only there for basically the descent, right? Like 2011 down. So it was the end of the title runs and part of the rebuild, or like the reload, I guess you'd say, with Nash and Dwight, which obviously went awful, to the Achilles, to coming back from the Achilles, just a crazy kind of roller coaster. And 2016 was actually very refreshing. I loved going into the press conferences with Kobe. I thought that was awesome. You just saw a different side of him. He was just glowing. He was just like so looking forward to the future, because he'd already he had his company firing all cylinders. He just won an Oscar. Like he just was a different guy. But it was very cool because he was very kind and very willing to answer questions. I remember the one question I asked him that year, I was so damn nervous to ask it, because I thought he was going to rip my head off, which he's done to reporters on many occasions. Like, just not rip your head off, like, but like kind of make you feel like maybe you should have thought that question out a little bit more before you asked me, right? Because he's different kind of athlete, man. He just thinks on another level. So I asked him, I said, do you think there's somebody in the league who can pass or match or surpass 81 points? And I was hoping he would drop names, because I think it was around the time where Clay had just dropped that huge game where he scored, I can't even remember the point total, but it was like he didn't have to do much. He only took a few dribbles, right? Like they were just hitting him the whole game. And I was like, okay, this is the perfect time to ask him. And I was hoping he'd say KD, Steph, Clay, whatever. Nah, didn't drop any names. But he said something interesting. He admitted, yeah, I think if you're in the right shape and you have the right mindset, it's possible. You have to believe it's possible, which I thought was the coolest quote. You have to believe that it's possible. It's like you could put that in, how you should think about this upcoming season. You have to believe that it's possible that the Lakers can defy the odds and have a good year. You have to believe it's possible that JJ Redick actually could be a good coach. You have to believe it's possible that Bronny could become a player, like an impact player. I don't think he can be a star, but I think he could be a good role player at some point if he plays defense the way we're all hoping he does. I think he has to become a better shooter, a better offensive player, which is pretty obvious. But I think his defense is pretty on point, and that's something that you don't get from players these days. That effort on that end is something you don't get really outside of big men and say Drew Holiday, Derek White, Lou Dort, who JJ is kind of hoping Bronny turns into. Just got to hope that next season it's possible to have a good outcome. And let's wrap it up there. I don't know when I'll be back on because content is thin as hell right now. But Team USA, we keep us flowing, gives us some more things to talk about. And can't wait to see the statue tomorrow. I think it'd be super cool to see the design and everything. Hopefully it's not cringeworthy because sometimes they get these things really wrong. Lakers have done a really good job, though. I don't think I've seen one statue that they put up that I've been like, what the hell is that? So hopefully it's just as good as the last one. But we'll see. Got to wait and see. But until next time, peace.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.